What to do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you hit that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm, make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And please, if you have not done so yet, hit that link in the description, go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, when are these politicians gonna stop playing around with themselves? When they gonna actually get serious about the black vote? Because right now, you got the Democratic Party running around like chickens with their heads cut off because they're seeing how much of the black vote that they're losing. But yet, instead of investing in the black community, offering us something tangible for our vote, they would rather go and take those funds, tens of millions of dollars, and spend it on a bunch of nonsensical BS. Spend it with so-called quote-unquote black leaders. And we gonna see what 8 figures paid out to black leaders look like. But let's get into this article real quick. Biden, in an appeal to black voters, says, make Donald Trump a loser again. Let's get into it. President Joe Biden railed against former President Donald Trump at a speech Wednesday from Philadelphia geared towards winning back black voters who have shifted to supporting Trump, calling Trump unhinged. That's calling the kettle black, to say the least, and accusing him of peddling lies and stereotypes to win over the reliable Democratic demographic. Well, if we're so reliable, why didn't you take care of your reliable base? Gotta make you wonder there. Gotta make you wonder. Biden compared Trump's calls for a crackdown on protests against George Floyd's murder to Trump's support of convicted January 6 rioters, telling the crowd, what do you think Trump would have done on January 6 if black Americans had stormed the Capitol? See, he's going with more fear mongering. Trump bad, don't forget, he's racist. Well, so are you. And you've been showing how racist you are since you've gotten into that seat. Calling Trump unhinged and suggesting he injected a lot of bleach into himself. A reference to Trump widely refuted suggestion that bleach could cure the vid shot. Biden reminded black voters they were crucial in his 2020 election, saying, with your vote in 2024, we will make Donald Trump a loser again. Well, what are you doing in order to secure that vote? He didn't have to remind us. If anything, you should be reminding yourself who your crucial voting bloc is. You should be reminding yourself who your crucial voting bloc is. And you should be doing something for that voting bloc. Not bringing in a bunch of illegals and giving all these resources that should be going to your voting block to them. But then you want to come around and remind us, hey, without you guys, I wouldn't have won. No. You should have been reminding yourself that these past 4 years. While you was giving nations hate crime bills, while you was passing prison reform for Native Americans, while you giving Native Americans the largest endowment in history, while you giving billions of dollars to the Ukraine, while you're giving billions of dollars to Israel, while you giving billions of dollars to these illegals, while you trying to fast track citizenship for these illegals, flying in 30,000 illegals per month, trying to leave the border open until it hit a certain number, about 4,000 to 5,000 a day, and funneling all these people into black enclaves, into our areas. But you have to remind us? No. We're reminding you. We're reminding you who put you in there, and we're reminding you who's putting you out. We don't even have to do too much because y'all not doing anything. So guess what? Our ballot is towards President Couch and Vice President Love Seat. That's where the vote is going. And it's making them nervous. Let's continue. Biden delivered a speech to kick off the outreach initiative. Black voters for Biden-Harris. Remember that. Black voters for Biden-Harris. See, both sides are trying to make you think that they have the black grassroots by using black voters for Biden-Harris, black voters for Trump. And neither side are really black grassroots whatsoever. But it's the goal to make it look like they have the black grassroots. They don't even have to actually have them. But let's continue. Biden delivered his speech to kick off the outreach initiative, Black Voters for Biden-Harris, in which the campaign will partner with black community leaders, influencers, and surrogates over the summer to host events in black communities and engage with media outlets that cater to black audiences. Let's read that again. Black community leaders, influencers, and surrogates over the summer to host events in black communities and engage with media outlets that cater to black audiences. It announced Wednesday. Now get this. The campaign is launching the 8-figure outreach initiative as both Biden and the Democratic Party as a whole have lost support amongst black voters since 2020, according to Pew Research. Now, here's an idea. Why not take that 8 figures that you're putting into this campaign, that you're giving to these black community leaders, so-called black community leaders, these influencers and surrogates or whatever? Why not take that 8 figures and actually invest that into these black communities that you're trying to go have events at? Why not take that 8 figures, because that's tens of millions of dollars, That's tens of millions of dollars. So why not take that and actually invest that into these same black communities that you're trying to go get these black votes from? But no, all you want to do is make it appear like you're doing something when you actually have the ability to do something right here and right now. You got 8 figures to work with. You have tens of millions to work with. So why aren't you taking that and putting that into the black voters' hands and communities? Oh, y'all don't have no problem giving out $1,000 a month to illegals, not including the food stamps they get, the free health care they get, free housing that they get. Why not take those tens of millions of dollars, those 8 figures that you're spending on influencers and fake community leaders to put on events? Why aren't you taking that and actually putting it into the community? As of April, Biden's support among black voters has dipped to 77% since 2020, when 92% voted for him over Trump, according to Pew, while 83% of black registered voters identify as Democrat or leaning Democrat, compared to 88% 4 years ago. So all the numbers are dropping like flies. All of the numbers are dropping like flies. And they don't understand, or they do understand, they just refuse to do it, that spending all that money could be better spent on those voting bases that you're looking to galvanize. Biden's overall approval rating amongst black Americans has also decreased dramatically throughout his presidency, from 87% in March 2021 to 55%, Pew found. I want to jump over to this article here. Trump capitalizing on Democrats' fears. Biden isn't connecting with black voters. And they are trying their hardest to make it seem like, well, since black voters aren't rocking with Joe Biden, they're running over to Trump. And nothing is farther from the truth. I showed on a couple of streams back how the people that the media has been like shining a light on as of being these frustrated citizens, they were already Republicans in 2020 and they were Republicans in 2016. So it isn't nothing new. But they're given that illusion that, hey, look at all the black guys that's running over to Trump. When then they have to then turn around and say the majority of black Americans are probably going to be sitting this out. They tell on themselves. Let's get a little bit into this article. Top Democrats across multiple swing states are warning Joe Biden the black vote is far from locked in, leaning into worries that the president is losing a core voter bloc. We did that. While they running around, wasn't Jim Clyburn talking about there's no issue with Joe Biden and the black vote? Now you got top black Democrats across multiple swing states saying, well, that's not really so much the case there, Jimbo. That's not really the case. In Nevada, black leaders worry about Biden's descending trajectory, blaming lackluster voter enthusiasm on the communication gap. No. There's no communication gap. They're just not doing anything. And we communicate to them that we want tangibles for our vote. And they're ignoring that communication. So it's not a communication gap. It's literally them choosing to cut off their nose to spite their face. Let me go back here. Blaming lackluster voter enthusiasm on a communication gap about the Biden administration's accomplishment. What have they done for the black community besides flood the zone with illegals and give all the resources that should be ours to them? They ignore us when we talk about our hate crime bill that we need. They ignored us when we talked about all the issues that's going on with the police brutality and everything else. They give more money to the police in their departments. Biden's DOJ hasn't stepped in for any of us. Not once. Carolyn Bryant died, a free woman. Then Biden wanted to turn around and do some Emmett Till memorial crap. These folks have been playing with us left and right since they got into office and been ignoring us left and right since they got into office. So what accomplishments? Because if you're talking about these low, quote unquote, unemployment rates, that's a fabrication, and I've already done a whole breakdown on why that's a lie, how they use it as a lie, and the actual numbers. But they keep throwing that out there. They can't give you one tangible thing that Biden has literally done for the black community, but yet his administration got quote unquote accomplishments. Representative Steve Horsford, the chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus, is adding his voice, oh God, to the growing list of calls for the Biden campaign to switch up its strategy. Well, what are you saying there, buddy? Are you calling for reparations? Let's find out. I'm in a battleground state. Okay. I know what hasn't been done. Horsford told Politico. I felt the level of disconnection earlier on the message, on the messenger, and the mobilization. I felt the level of disconnect early on the message, on the messenger, and the mobilization. But what are you calling for? Damn the message. We don't care about them. We're giving you the message. We're giving you the agenda. You guys keep literally ignoring the agenda, walking away from the agenda, acting as if everyone else's agenda is more important than your voting base. Your voting base. Your voter block. It makes no sense. Representative Jasmine Crockett had similar words for the Biden campaign. I think that the way that we communicate has changed in such a way that if you don't invest early, it's going to be a problem, she said. I'm not saying that it's the last minute, but we are in crunch time. You see, the problem here is it's not about investing early. It's about investing in your core group, in your voter block. Because if you're not doing that, all while your voter block watches you not just invest in other groups who don't vote for them, but deliberately disrespect you while doing so, then you're going to have a problem. And if you don't call it out in that manner, then all you're doing is exasperating that same problem. But let's continue. The Trump campaign has capitalized on the momentum, telling the Washington Examiner, President Trump's outreach to minority voters is straightforward. He shows up, listens, and makes it clear that we'll be better off with him as president, just like we were 4 years ago. Well, to his supporters and to the so-called black people who supports Trump, what is he claiming he's going to do for the black community? What is he claiming he's going to do for your black vote? Nothing. He shows up, listens, and makes it clear that it'll be better under him than it was under Biden, just like it was 4 years ago. That's not giving you any stipulation on what he would do for you. If you give me your vote, I will do this for your community. If you give me your vote, I will do this for your community. That's how it's supposed to go. However, people are just letting these politicians come in, whether Republican or Democrat, and just give you a nothing burger, and then you turn around and try to go out into the black community and give that same nothing burger. And then when we tell you it's a nothing burger, you try to throw mayonnaise, you try to throw ketchup and all the other condiments you can on there to make it look good, but it's still a nothing burger. Let's continue. The Biden campaign sees that President Trump is up to 23% in the polls with black voters, a record high that we haven't seen in decades. President Trump knows that black voters prefer low taxes, which he delivered in his first term, and like all Americans, oppose Biden's hiking tax rates. No, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's fine and dandy. Black Americans don't care about you dropping taxes or Biden increasing taxes as much as we care about reparations and a transformative black agenda. That's something that you're going to do for the whole country, right? You're going to make sure you lower taxes for the whole country. What are you doing for black Americans and our vote? That's what we want. And that's all we care about. Let's continue. Ultimately, President Trump's economic policies offer more opportunities to build generational wealth for black families, which is nonsense. It's nonsense. You can't just go off building generational wealth, especially when everyone else had a 400-year start. People who just got here is being given amenities over us, which keeps us in the lowest tier of the racial wealth gap. That's how this works. Professor Black Truth and Jason Black has both said this. They have to give some sort of grounding to these people that they bring in this country. They have to give them an economic floor. In the words of Martin Luther King. While they're giving everybody else the economic floor, they're ripping our floor from up under us. And we pay taxes in this country. And we pay taxes in this country. So no, not just all the little, yeah, it was better under me. Don't worry. I'm here to listen. I'm here to show up for you guys. I'm gonna make it better. I'm gonna make it just like I had it 4 years ago. None of that stuff matters to us. It might matter in that small circle of bootlicks you got, that small circle. But the black grassroots is not moved by any of that nonsense. We're not moved by Biden's nonsense. We're not moved by Trump's nonsense. All the nonsense is we're unmoved, unbothered by. Now let me jump over to this last clip here. I want to show you this video here, and we're going to go over it. But remember when I spoke to you guys about the tens of millions that the Democratic Party is putting into their campaign, black voters for Biden-Harris, instead of taking those tens of millions of dollars and putting it into the black community, investing it within black businesses or anything like that. No. So I want to show you what their campaign looks like. Black voters for Biden-Harris launches in Wisconsin, bringing endorsements from 50 black elected leaders. Let's get into this video, family.
Pleasure to be here with everybody this morning. Congresswoman talked about the fight that's coming, the electoral fight, and as the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, says that when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Again, it's my honor to be here with everyone this morning, standing beside two amazing, simply amazing black women from right here in Milwaukee. Senator LaTanya Johnson, who you'll hear from momentarily, and of course, our United States Representative Gwen Moore. Outstanding. Thank you so much for being here, both of you. On Wednesday, along with black mayors from all across the United States, I had the privilege to join President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris for the national launch of Black Voters for Biden.
My fault, family.
Harris over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And today, I'm exceptionally proud to stand with more than 50 black leaders from right here in Milwaukee and across the entire state of Wisconsin, endorsing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to continue serving as President and Vice President of the United States. Yay! Joe Biden, President, Kamala Harris, Vice President, have been champions for black Wisconsinites. And we want Joe and Kamala to finish the job, deliver, because that's what they've been doing, delivering for black voters, growing black wealth and lowering the black unemployment rate, closing the racial wealth gap, lowering prescription drug prices, and also investing in historically black colleges and universities here in the United States. But we also have to make sure that Donald Trump, that he never, ever goes anywhere near the White House again. And we don't have to imagine, we do not have to imagine what a second Trump presidency would look like, because he's been telling us all the way around. Donald Trump, he wants to gut the Affordable Care Act,
Yes.
also known as Obamacare. He wants to take
Yep.
that away, making many people, including millions of black people, lose health care coverage in Wisconsin and across the United States. Donald Trump wants to end anti-discrimination rules in housing to protect black Americans and cut federal housing assistance. Donald Trump wants to ban abortion nationally. Nationally, he wants to ban abortion. And he said he's looking at further restrictions for birth control. Right? This is the party who says that we should have limited government. Government should be involved in everybody's life, but they would be, in people's bedrooms making decisions about family planning. That should be up to families, not up to the federal government. But that's what Donald Trump wants to make it to be about. And there's already so many people, so many women, including nearly half of black women in the United States, who live under Trump-branded abortion bans all across our country. We cannot allow him to become president and make a national abortion ban.
Okay, family, so we're going to run that back and unpack that. Let's run that back to the beginning there. There's so much to unpack here. Let's get it going.
Pleasure to be here with everybody this morning. Congresswoman talked about the fight that's coming, the electoral fight, and as the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris says that when we fight, we win.
I don't care how much you fight. I do not care how much you fight. If you cut off your legs, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose that fight. If you cut off your legs 9 times out of the 10, you're going to lose that fight. And you're going to lose that fight to the other person on the other side of that ring. Well, what am I saying? Well, your legs are the base of your body. And if you're trying to swing from the hip, but you have no legs, what do you think is going to happen? One good punch, one good kick, and you're down. A friend of mine once told me when I was younger that the Democratic and the Republican Party leans on each other like a pyramid. And because of that, a wind can't fly through and tip that pyramid structure over. The pyramid is one of the strongest structures in creation. And when he told me that, I said, you know what? That's true. But if we're willing to come with some dynamite and blow out the base of the pyramid, the rest will crumble. The issue is we as Black Americans are the base of the Democratic Party. There is no pathway to the White House without Black voters when it comes to the Democratic Party. when it comes to the third party. It just isn't a pathway for anyone to get there without us. So no matter what you say, if we fight, we'll win. No. If you're fighting without legs, you're going to lose. Especially if you're fighting somebody who's, 6 feet tall, and you without legs and took you down to about 4 feet tall. At that point, you're like a kid to the person. One swift kick to the chest and you go fly back somewhere. Let's continue.
When we fight, we win. Again, it's my honor to be here with everyone this morning, standing beside two amazing, simply amazing black women from right here in Milwaukee. Senator LaTanya Johnson, who you'll hear from momentarily, and of course, our United States Representative Win Moore. Outstanding. Thank you so much for being here, both of you.
Notice how he makes it a point to say, it is an honor to be standing here with two of our greatest black women. He didn't say that verbatim, but you get where I'm going with this. How many of those black women that you're standing next to actually fight and support reparations? Who are actually fighting for reparations, not fight, of course, but who are actually fighting for reparations? How many of them are actually fighting for a transformative black agenda? How many of them are going to Biden, Harris, and telling them, hey, this time around, we really need to bring some tangibles to our community or else we're going to lose? How many of them are black Americans? And I mean foundational black Americans. How many of them actually are from out of the country black, immigrant black? I think I see what's going on here. You're going to use black to try to further Biden-Harris agenda, but the people are actually immigrant black, and that's why they're going for Biden, because they want more of their people to come into the country illegally. Okay, I got it. Let's continue.
On Wednesday, along with black mayors from all across the United States, I had the privilege to join President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris for the national launch of Black Voters for Biden-Harris over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Notice what he said. He had the privilege to be with Biden and Harris with other black leaders for the launch of this Biden-Harris campaign, but yet y'all didn't tell them that y'all need to do something for black Americans. Y'all didn't say, hey, with these tens of millions of dollars that you're giving us, we could actually take this and do some good in the neighborhoods. Because that's not what you're there for, huh? You're there to play the clown, the puppet. You're now trying to come around here blowing on your little flute like you the Pied Piper and everybody's supposed to just get on code. It's a no for me, dog. In the words of Randy Jackson. Let's continue.
And today, I'm exceptionally proud to stand with more than 50 black leaders from right here in Milwaukee and across the entire state of Wisconsin, endorsing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to continue serving as President and Vice President of the United States.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what tens of millions of dollars buy you. A gang of different politicians. A gang of different people who are quote unquote elected leaders. tens of millions of dollars, and we get bootlicks trying to convince us to get out and vote. I mean, I'm not the only person that can see this, right? This is what we get. This is what Biden's campaign is out here trying to promote. Let's continue.
Joe Biden, president, Kamala Harris, vice president, have been champions for black Wisconsinites. And we want Joe and Kamala to finish the job, deliver, because that's what they've been doing, delivering for black.
Now, we all know that that's a lie. What have they been delivering? And he's about to give this long, drawn-out list of stuff that you can tell he was given at that conference that he was at, our meeting he was at. We're going to give you X amount of money, but these are the points we need you guys to hammer home to black Americans. And all of those points are nonsense. From the unemployment, I've already did a live stream showing that they're not even using the real unemployment rate numbers. Come on. To the racial wealth gap, they're talking about how the racial wealth gap has shrunk and all this other stuff. I did a live stream showing that literally it has not closed, it has expanded. But yet, these are the things that they keep bringing to us as if we're too stupid to go and research what's going on. Like we're too stupid to actually pick up an article and read it. We're too stupid to even catch what they're saying and doing. And this is why they get called out. And this is why the new black media has been on their heads. Pause. This is why the black grassroots has literally been pulling the chair from up under everybody's ass. Enjoying the sound of their head cracking on the floor. Because they come to us with this nonsense. And it is so easy to do business with black Americans. All you have to do is do business. And Trump loves being a goddamn businessman. If he was smart, he would come to black Americans with a business deal for our black vote. Okay, you don't think that you can do reparations. What can you do? You can invest a few $100 million in the black community. Okay, that sounds all right. You can deport them out of our community, those illegals. Okay, that sounds all right. You could do some policies to, further the black community and further the protections of the black community. That sounds all right. But if you come in trying to make a deal and there's nothing in the suitcase, then guess what? It's a no deal. It's that simple. Deal or no deal. And we say no deal. And this is on both sides. I'm just saying Trump right now because Trump is the businessman. Biden is the pie-line-triction. So if Trump was smart enough, he would come to us with a business deal. Damn what everybody else in his base thinks. If he wants to become president again and he wants that black vote, a business deal is necessary. But these people, the Democrats in itself, they don't even want a deal. They want to tell you how they done a deal with you, and yet you have not seen anything from that deal. You see everyone else gaining from the deal they supposed to have with you. They supposed to have with you. Everyone else is gaining from that deal. But what is Black Americans holding? We're left holding our own. And that's why we're telling everybody else to hold your own. Let's continue.
Black voters, growing black wealth, and lowering the black unemployment rate, closing the racial wealth gap, lowering prescription drug prices.
The first two things, like I just explained a few minutes ago, I've already done streams on showing that the black wealth has not decreased. The racial wealth gap has not decreased. It's increased. And the black unemployment rate has not decreased. It's increased. Plus, they're not even using the real numbers from the unemployment rate. Then he goes on to talk about prescription drugs as if all black Americans are in their 80s and 90s. Black Americans' agenda ain't got nothing to do with prescription drugs, nor do it have anything to do with Social Security. But they keep trying to tell you that that's what our agenda is. I did a live stream about a month ago where I said, the title of it was, the Democrats don't have a messaging problem, they just don't want to accept the agenda. They don't want to accept our messaging. They don't have a messaging problem. We understand them clear as day. And we're telling them as clear as day that you better understand us, or else you're going to lose.
Prices, and also investing in historical black colleges and universities here in the United States.
Which every president has done. That means nothing. Every college gets something from the president. Look at the endowments of Yale and Harvard and Duke. They got billions. But, we're supposed to be good with them giving a few million over to the schools. What about black Americans who are not in college? What about black Americans who have no desire to go to college? Why are most of these HBCUs accepting more Latinos than black Americans? Do you see what I'm saying? Let's continue.
But we also have to make sure that Donald Trump, that he never, ever goes anywhere near the White House again.
More fear mongering. We'll tell Biden and Harris to do what they're supposed to do for their base. Otherwise, all this is a moot point. Everything you're saying and everything you're doing is a moot point.
And we don't have to imagine, we do not have to imagine what a second Trump presidency would look like, because he's been telling us all the way around.
And we don't have to imagine what a second presidency for Biden will look like, because he's been showing us all 4 years. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Tell me when I'm wrong. I'll shut down this stream. I might even shut down the channel, but you gotta tell me where I'm wrong. Biden has shown black Americans his ass for the past 4 years. And as soon as it gets around that time for, re-election, they popping right back up, knocking on the door. Hey, big head, what's up? And I treat him like all the women that call me big head and do stupid stuff like they do. Absolutely nothing. Keep it pushing. I don't have time for your shenanigans. What I have time for is to have a conversation and to sit down about what you're going to be doing this time around. If you're not doing it, then why are we here? As a matter of fact, you can make a campaign promise tomorrow and I wouldn't believe you. You would have to actually show me you doing something in my communities before I go out and vote for you. So those tens of millions of dollars, that would have been a good down payment, don't you think? Don't you think that would have been a great down payment? I surely believe it would have been a wonderful down payment if the black community saw Joe Biden and Harris putting tens of millions of dollars within the different black communities around the United States. Oh, that would have been a marvelous start. At least then we can actually say you did something for us individually as a group. As your base. Can't do that though, can we?
Donald Trump, he wants to gut the Affordable Care Act,
Yes.
also known as Obamacare. He wants to take that away, making many people, including millions of black people, lose health care coverage in Wisconsin and across the United States.
And Joe Biden has been flooding the zone with what he believes will be his new voter base, putting them into our neighborhoods and giving them all the benefits and resources of our neighborhoods that we don't get, taking resources away from our families to give to their families. I mean, where's the lie? Where is the lie?
Donald Trump wants to end anti-discrimination rules in housing to protect black Americans and cut federal housing assistance. Donald Trump wants to ban abortion nationally. Nationally wants to ban abortion. And he said he's looking at further restrictions for birth control.
Abortion is not the black community's problem. Abortion is the white community's problem. White women. So take that to them.
Right. This is the party who said we should have limited government. Government should be involved in everybody's life, but they would be, in people's bedrooms making decisions about family planning. That should be up to families, not up to the federal government.
And you're part of a party that literally say we live in a democracy, but they're moving like authoritarianisms. Excuse me, authoritarians. Like literally, black Americans all across America has been saying they didn't want these illegals within their communities. Biden's flying them in by the thousands per month. Not to mention the ones that's just getting across the border, the getaways, the gotaways or whatever, who ain't even thinking about the asylum process. But you go off.
But that's what Donald Trump wants to make it to be about. And there's already so many people, so many women, including nearly half of black women in the United States who live under Trump-branded abortion bans all across our country. We cannot allow him to become president and make a national abortion ban.
Now, it's funny how he said more than half of black women are living under Trump's abortion bans when more than, I think it's like 60, 70% of black Americans live in Democratic cities. So why wouldn't they be able to get that or abortion that you're talking about, my guy? Like, this is stuff that they don't even talk about right now. You want to talk about how 50% or more of black women are living under Trump's abortion bans, but more than that is living in Democratic cities. Or if not, a Democratic state. You can't make this up. But these are the people that they're sending out. Tens of millions of dollars they spend on these people. 50 black so-called leaders, elected leaders at that. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. But if you're anything like me, you would know that those tens of million dollars would have been better spent actually taking care of your base. With that being said, family and friends, the doors of the church are closed. If you are not subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified when videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And then also, if you haven't done so yet, please hit that link in the description and go to change.org. Put your signature on the petition for reparations. Shout out to all of my members. I had a video that I had time to drop while I was on my road trip. Unfortunately, it didn't. It literally, I don't know, abandoned the process, it says here. But I'm going to re-upload it, and you're going to be receiving your videos either tomorrow, and I'm recording this, well, re-recording this because this video had to be re-recorded as well. But I'm recording this on the 4th, so to my members and patrons, you'll be getting your videos either the 5th or the 6th, most likely the 5th. But with that being said, family and friends, much love to everybody who's here to listen, who heard, who internalized, who understands, overstand, and understand everything that we're fighting for and everyone we're fighting for. With that being said, the doors of the church are closed. Peace, family.